Rodger was just 14 years old when he bought it. A humble 65 Mustang coupe with a straight 6 under the hood, nothing special, but it was his. Through life's first lessons, that Mustang was always there. Then came the uniform. Rodger became an Air Force pilot, serving 20 years in the sky, learning the value of precision, discipline, and most of all, safety. He tore down the car he once knew and rebuilt it as the machine he always dreamed of. Definitely not a trailer queen, a true driver's car, engineered to take abuse, to grip pavement, and to keep him alive doing it. What was once a forgotten 6-cylinder coupe is truly now Rodger's masterpiece. So let's go straight into details on this thing. Number one, before we even pop the hood, what'd you say the color is?
It's Alpina green, so modern BMW Alpina.
Spectacular color, like brings in the heritage of like the Bullet Mustang.
That's right.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it light up out in the sun.
You're gonna love it out there with the sun. It really pops.
Yeah, and you said you did almost everything yourself on this car.
Yeah, almost all of it is amateur built. Me and my son Justin did a lot of the mechanicals, and then my buddy and his dad, this was actually their first not in the family project doing the paint and body. So I drug it out to Phoenix and they did it at their home shop and just killed it with the body work.
Fantastic.
I told them to chill, you know, and not work quite so hard on it, and
yeah,
there was no stopping them.
No, they went. You could tell they went ballistic.
They sure did. Yeah.
So what's the engine you got here?
It's a 408 Windsor, you know, tall deck Windsor, 351 based.
Yeah.
Got the long block from Blueprint Engines. Decided again not to reinvent the wheel there.
Sure.
I've been working on this so long actually that I was going to put a 4.6 from like a late 90s Mustang, like the modular motor.
God, you didn't do that.
By pumping out no less than 305 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque.
Fuel injected with a serpentine drive, and it's got a one-piece rear main seal so it doesn't leak, and get that kind of rowdy, old school vibe, but still have it be reliable.
So what do you make power-wise with this engine?
So I haven't dynoed it since it's been in the car yet, but Blueprint Engines dynos the long block before they send it to you, and it made 469 and just shy of 500 foot-pounds. For this car, I mean, it's not scary. It's just enough to right on the edge of scary.
Yeah, I get it, and I like that. I mean, you probably didn't need to, but it gave you the room by cutting the shock tower.
So the shock towers went before the engine because again, that 4.6 is wide. that's how
big
long
motor,
ago.
sure.
It's a Heights front end, so it's a Heights Super Ride 2 front end that I did. I actually did that back in 2006 when I tore the car down the first time. It was apart for about 19 years.
It's crazy.
And finally just got it put together.
Yeah, yeah. You know, everything looks super clean, but it also looks old school in here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So what do you go to transmission and rear end on the car?
So it's got the Tremec TKX, so I didn't have to really cut much of anything, just a little bit around the shifter opening, which was nice. And then I did the scatter shield instead of just an aluminum bell housing, just for extra safety there, so I don't want to lose a foot to an exploding clutch or flywheel.
Yeah.
And then just 1350 U-joints, back to a Detroit Speed Quadrolink rear end, so it's got a narrowed 9-inch, and then it's a 5-link with coilovers in the back.
Yeah.
And then mini tubs, of course, but we'll get there.
Yeah, so the car really handles, I'm sure.
It's great, yeah. I was thinking actually this motor, because it's an iron block, I was like, it might be a little bit heavy up front, but it's actually really nice.
Are you a manual brake setup on here?
I did, because
nice.
Willwood's really been pushing that. I was originally going to do power and do like a Hydro Boost or something like that to fit it in there. And I know that probably from watching a lot of your stuff and other car shows on YouTube that Willwood's, you know, all about the manual, and yeah, it's plenty for this car.
When manual's set up, it's just the best, man. Manual brakes are so cool. And so it's Willwood all around the car then?
There are 4 pistons up front and there are 2 pistons sliding in the rear. Just 12-inch rotor up here. I went with the 17-inch wheels.
Nice.
Detroit Speed likes an 18 because they say you can get better tire choices for it, but I just thought for look, 18's pretty big for these first-gen cars, I think. So
yeah, couldn't agree more with you. I think 17's the max you want to go on this. I mean, I've seen plenty of Mustangs with bigger wheels, and I'm not knocking it, but I personally like it. It just looks better. Yeah. What are the sizes like as far as wheels and tires go? 17's and...
Yeah, so there are 235 up front, and then it's a 315 in the rear. rear. So especially with these first gen cars, without mini tubbing them or doing fender flares, popping them out that way, you can't fit more than like a 225 on the back, and they look weak. You can't get the stance right. That was one of the big things that I'm like, I'm not going to compromise on that.
Yeah.
And it really turned out well, especially from the far back. When you see it, you're like,
yeah.
oof.
Well, and the first thing I commented on when you pulled up was the color, which is stellar, and the stance is so perfect on this car.
Yeah, thanks.
Now I noticed it's kind of, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it is kind of quiet. I'm sure it comes to life as you put your foot in it, but at idle, it's a fairly quiet car. What's your header exhaust setup?
Yeah, so they're Doug's headers into I did a 2.5. I did the first iteration of the exhaust, again, lying on my back with piecing it together, you know, the Summit kit and, you know, my horizontal bandsaw and my MIG welder and all this stuff on my garage floor. And it turned out pretty well. I mean, it came out the back looking right, and it sounded good, but it had that drone, you know, on the freeway where you're just like, it sounds good for 20 minutes, and then you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible.
Sure.
So right before I did this big road trip up to my high school reunion, I just took it to San Pedro Muffler, and I'm like, guys, I tried my first hack at it. What do you recommend?
Yeah.
And they put a couple of resonators on there, which when it opens up, it sounds good.
Sure.
And I actually even just made another change to it the other day that I haven't really played with a lot, but I got the Varex mufflers. It's got the valves built in.
Oh, cool.
So they're open right now. It's not quite as loud as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But now you got the little remote. You can actually close those off and have it nice and quiet. Again, I built it to be a driver. And so, I mean, it's only been on the road for probably 5 months, and it's got almost 5,000 miles on it. So.
There's custom cars that won't get 5,000 miles in their lifetime. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious about that.
Yeah.
I also, you know, one of the other things I like a lot up here, just the look, is doing the bed liner all through here.
Yeah, that was my buddy Jason and his dad recommended that. It's great. So the whole thing, even underneath all the carpet, everything, the trunk you'll see later, all underneath is all that material. They just, when it was blown apart, when they were doing the body work, we just went ahead and shot it with that. And you see show cars all the time where they'll build like a fairing or a fiberglass panel.
Oh, totally.
To make it look pretty, which is like, okay, well, that's cool. But I also like mechanical stuff. I want to see how it works.
I'm with you. I'm so over the decorative, you know, make it look like a modern AMG. Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a neat element to it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I mean, especially a guy like you that actually works on your own stuff. Do you really want to spend an hour disassembling some crazy pinstriped piece of art?
No,
I mean,
no. And it's already given me enough anxiety. It was as nice as it turned out to drive it.
So no body mods to it, right? It's all
not really. The only thing.
Did you roll the fenders at all, or quarters?
Yeah, I had them roll this just a little bit underneath, so that we didn't have a catastrophic cut or something.
Sure.
But other than that, you know, I kind of feel like you can't mess with perfection. Those guys, however they did it back then, just nailed this body. I mean, everything about it is just right. So we did a couple things. They went ahead and, like, normally these extensions on the quarters are a separate piece. So they went ahead and smoothed that all in. There's normally a seam right here that they smoothed in.
Yes.
Same thing down here where the valance connects to your rear panel here.
Yeah.
There's normally a seam there. They smoothed that. Even down here, normally there's a parting seam right here between the rocker and the quarter.
Right.
They smooth those as
These are really highly noticeable, especially the one that's right there typically. That's just so beautiful. I'm assuming the trunk's finished out a bit like the interior.
It is.
Dude, we talked about it on the phone, right? Your redundancy for safety, given that you are a pilot, you got to make sure things work right, you know? And seeing all this stuff, battery relocated back here, that's obviously a fuel cell, right? That's not a traditional fuel tank?
It's a baffled fuel tank. I wanted to get a fuel cell, but I couldn't get that, so I made a couple mods even to that to make it safer. But I mean, just simple stuff, like guys put, you know, batteries in the trunk and then run, you know, 1 gauge wire all the way through the interior of the car with no protection. So I got a 750 amp fuse. Because otherwise you're running like basically an unattended MIG welder through your interior all the time, right? If you've got it solidly connected. And then we did a bunch of other stuff because, again, you know, these first gen Mustangs, we get the gas tank as the trunk floor, was probably wouldn't pass modern muster, right?
Yeah, sure.
They just didn't think about that kind of stuff back then. So when the guys did the body work, I asked them to build me this firewall. So we got firewall to separate, because normally if you look at these, it's a piece of cardboard between the interior and the fuel tank.
Yeah.
And then this is another mod I did, because normally you get the filler here and it just goes to a rubber connector between here and here. And if you get tapped, that's gonna pop off and fuel is going to go everywhere.
So do you fill here then?
Fill here,
Yeah.
and then I cap this off, drilled a hole, and ran this in tube for vent. So now it vents there, but now I figure if I get hit, I've got some give before it's going to spill fuel.
Sure.
You know, like another thing that I think gets overlooked a lot on with fuel injection, you got 55 psi roughly running to and from the fuel system, and a lot of guys will not think about what happens in a crash.
Yeah.
Because with a carb, it's suction fed, right? So the engine stops, or if gas line breaks, it sucks air and it's done.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to spray high pressure fuel everywhere.
Yeah.
If you keep it going. So I just got this little guy right here that's a G switch. So if you get hit, that thing will break and turn off your fuel pump relay. And I actually just accidentally tested it the other day because I had this panel off and using my impact, I didn't even think about it. And I go to start the car and I'm like, son of a bitch, what's going on with this thing?
That was it.
And that was it. And I went, ooh, yeah, that's right. Reset it.
Smart though, all your safety elements, even noticing, like I see you put a bar on the backside. I was assuming it was just almost like just a rear harness bar, but I see you tied it all the way back in and down.
Yeah, so I mean, this is how long I've had this car. That bar I actually put in 1994 when my sister started driving the car, and I wanted to put 3-point belts in for her at that point. And there's not really a good place in these cars to mount it structurally.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get into the, pull the headliner out and weld something in or whatever. I didn't have the capability at that time. So I just had this 4-point bar put in and put in shoulder harnesses.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's go look at your interior.
Yeah.
See, this is another one, dude. I love this car. Still looks like a Mustang in here.
Well, and that's the other thing that's been great about the project taking so long is the aftermarket keeps coming up with cool shit.
Sure.
So like those gauges look stock, right? That looks like a stock 65.
What is
set
it?
of gauges.
So Dakota Digitals.
Yeah.
I got to imagine, like, this is all replacement stuff.
Oh yeah.
But all mimicking the stock original.
Yeah. I mean, same thing. Like this car, when I had it originally, it was a 6-cylinder automatic car with one option. It had the visibility package, which consisted of the cable-operated rearview mirror and the day-night rearview mirror.
Too funny.
Other than that, it was poverty spec door panels and nothing else. So I wanted to kind of keep that little bit of nostalgia, but a lot of new as well.
I mean, it's enough stuff changed, but it's still I mean, you get in here, you can't be lost in that it's a Mustang, Yeah. This is another big one for me, that you put an actual e-brake in here rather than maybe a push button, or like most modern resto mod builds, just have no parking brake whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's that redundancy thing you were talking
Yeah.
about. So I mean, especially that's another thing we didn't even talk about with the Wilwood brakes. These cars originally had a single pot master cylinder, so a single hydraulic system, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so it's got, now it's got the dual pot master cylinder, so you got 2 reservoirs independently. Right. The stock one is like a pull out right here.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. I tried to do that, but it's this Rube Goldberg thing with cables and stuff underneath, and I just didn't have room to make it work.
Yeah.
So I decided to cut this one, and it's a low car handle that goes straight to the
This
Wilwood.
is so smart, dude. Let's be honest. I mean, God forbid you have, like I've had before, where you have full brake failure.
Yeah.
Grab this. At least you're gonna get to scrub some speed, right?
Well, and I'll tell you something too. You mentioned that video, and it was really instructive, even for me as a safety professional.
Right.
In my previous life in the military, it made me have to rethink a couple of things.
Sure.
One of which was deleting the rear seat completely.
Yeah.
I didn't want to even be tempted to put somebody back there with the bar
Yep.
back there.
Yep.
But the e-brake, just yesterday, literally as I was getting ready to come here, I tested it, and I'm like, man, it needs to be adjusted, and it's a nightmare underneath there to adjust the thing, because it's those resonators, the drive shaft, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I go, no, I gotta do it.
You're not gonna let it.
I
You
gotta
can't.
do it.
Not a guy like you that does what you do. No, I really get it. The other one is, I know you guys, obviously we can't play audio because we get hammered on the copyright issues, but your audio in here is banging. And obviously what is it, Retro Sound or one of those companies?
It's even cool. Slide that little thing on underneath there, so you can be totally stealth.
Oh my God, that's so cool. But you went ballistic on the audio. Did you do all the audio in here yourself as well?
Yeah, I had the guys, Upholstery Works down in Wilmington did the headliner. This is another thing that they did that was cool. I didn't even think of.
Yeah.
I just let them loose on the headliner, and they came up with this idea of just wrapping it tight, and it gave like an extra 1.5 inches of headroom. because normally these things hang down quite a ways, and they wrapped it tight all the way around. And plus I put a 6970 seat pan in it, so it's a ½ inch lower than the stock. So
I was wondering why I feel like you sit a bit lower in here. I didn't know if it was just the way the seats are.
These are the lowest aftermarket seats I could find. This car's so cool. Thanks, man.
Beautiful. And these Corbos are nice. These are comfortable seats, but you're bolstered enough that it's going to keep you in place.
Yeah, and like I said, I just did that road trip, and aside from having to, you know, throw the old man lumbar support in occasionally, they were quite comfortable for the whole.
I know about old man lumbar. Trust me, dude. You said how many 3,100 miles you just did?
Yeah, up to Seattle and back, and we took the coast on the way up, and then my wife came with me on that part of the trip, and then my buddy who lives here in LA, who went to school together, we're in a band together back in the day, and he rode down with me. We did the Eastern Sierra route on the way home.
More and more and more, we've been shooting garage-built cars because it's a different intent. The pro builders, they just want to be able to go show the car, and that's the end of it for them for the most part. Where you build it in your garage, you want to be able to go drive and enjoy the car, and you know.
Absolutely, and they're all beautiful. I totally respect them.
Totally, I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking them.
But I don't have the budget for that either.
Yeah, well, most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people can't spend $500,000 or more building a car. I mean, I got to be honest. This car looks like you've got a lot of money into it, but it's because you did the bulk of the work yourself.
Yeah.
But we'll put cameras in and go drive it, man. I really want to go for a drive in this car.
Do it.
This is so cool, dude. Boy, right away, just the little touch on your brakes just now.
Yeah.
I'm such a manual brake guy when they're done right.
Yeah.
Like a boosted brake, I'm not anti-boosted brake in the slightest, but when manual brakes are properly set up, I really love them. I like how much touch you have. You can just soft slow up, or you can hammer it.
My wife and I did the Dirtfish Rally School.
Oh, okay.
Up in Washington.
Cool.
And they actually disable the brakes because you cannot have the right touch on them. You steer so much in rally with brakes, you can't do it with power brakes. You would be off into the trees.
Right away, I really like your car, man.
Thanks, man.
So you guys, to give you an understanding, when I say Rodger's a pilot, give the kind of military, the this, the that, to give an understanding of you're not a guy that went to pilot school and now you fly commercial jets, which I'm not saying there's any lack of anything in that, but you know what I mean, dude. You're a guy that probably has more experience in the air than the average pilot, I would say.
I have been flying over half my life professionally at this point, so it feels pretty second nature, and I'm sure. I've been really fortunate to live in this era where I can even do that professionally. Like I don't know that I could have a desk job. Yeah, I mean the basics are I went to Air Force ROTC, and then I went into Air Force pilot training. I got the A-10 out of pilot training, which was my #1 choice. Flew the A-10 for 8 years on active duty, and then I wanted to go to the Air National Guard. Joined the Alaska Air National Guard, and ended up flying Pavehawk rescue helicopters for 10 years in the Air Guard. Well, I was primarily actually a stay-at-home dad, so my wife's career was primary, and then I was a part-timer flying the helicopter, which is a pretty great part-time job.
Yeah.
8 or 9 years ago, I started going, I should get my follow-on career going, and got into the airline gig, and life is good.
You guys, the reason I have him bring it up, is, like I said a second ago, not taking anything away from just we'll call it, for lack of better terms, the average everyday pilot. But given that you've flown in so many different applications, Rodger's approach in the amount of safety elements that he built into this vehicle is something you should all take notice of, in my opinion. A lot of you guys probably already think that way. Some of you might not think that way, and that's the ultimate point of it, is building something like this that you were able to jump in, drive all the way to Washington and back, 3,100 miles, you said?
Yeah, just a touch under, for full truth.
We'll round it off and call it 3,000 miles. I mean, still, that means you've built a car that's a total driver car, that you can enjoy it for that many miles too.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting I've noticed about car culture sometimes, I kind of call it the deadliest catch effect, the Discovery show.
Sure.
I used to watch that sometimes and be like, why are they doing things a certain way? But there is a certain weird, some people don't, people wouldn't want to go do that, if it wasn't a bit dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and to me, that's never made sense. I'd much rather live that look cool.
Yeah, anyways, we'll leave it for now. Let's go back to the car, because I got to tell you, driving this car down the road, already hitting like the LA street bumps, I'm blown away how well this car drives, dude.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
That it's stiff enough to know you're in call it a pro touring resto mod world of car.
well, and I did a lot of chassis stiffening as well. So it's got the bar, which was primarily to mount the belts.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons. But the bar has obviously the addition of stiffening up the chassis. And then these first gen cars, especially a 6-cylinder car, it doesn't even have torque boxes from the factory.
Yeah.
So no kidding, like the frame rail is attached to the rocker by a piece of sheet metal. There's nothing to it. I added torque boxes to it while I was in there, and then I also added the Detroit Speed subframe connectors. You know, and I can't take credit for that. That was the you know, Heights Hot Rod Shop front end and the Detroit Speed rear that those guys, you know, engineered properly.
Sure.
Yeah, they're adjustable coilovers, maybe 25% up from the softest setting. Seems to be about right.
What's your rear end geared at on this?
That's a 350.
Got it. Makes sense, because you make enough torque from the engine itself, you can go with a little taller gear.
Yeah, with as light as this car is, it doesn't need, you know, I mean, the ability to make power these days is so insane.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
like, I think that some nerd's gonna get mad at me here, but even like a GT350 back in the day, you know, Shelby car from 65 was what, 306 horsepower or
Sure.
something like that. This is,
Sure.
you know, 450 plus.
I love your car, man.
Thanks, man.
You got to be so happy with this.
Yeah, it also takes the, you know, support network of car guy friends to, you know, egg each other on and not let you get away with setting it aside for too long. Driving it to, you know, the reunion, 30th high school reunion, my original car was really awesome. And my buddy Sam and his had his Chevelle that he's had since he was 13, and so we cruised to the reunion together in the high school cars. Was just great.
That's so rare, dude. Nobody keeps their high school car.
Yeah, only crazy people.
Now, how long did you say it's been that you've had the car actually done and on the road for?
I mean, I was doing the "we're gonna lose the shop" thing like a reality TV show until the night before we left for the reunion, like a month ago.
So it's technically still a really, really fresh build.
Yeah.
With 5,000 miles on it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Now, I gotta imagine, have you driven other people's resto mods at all?
No.
Okay, so you don't really have much to relate it to. I have a lot to relate it to.
Yeah.
The idea that there's a cage and it's not rattling like crazy, you're steering the way it is, you know, the suspension, the manual brakes is one. People mess up a lot. Like, I've been in enough manual brake cars where you have a ton of pedals, so you would assume you got a lot of braking, but no matter how hard you're hitting it, you're just never getting the braking. And that's a scary moment, you know, when you're like,
Oh, yeah.
holy shit, I cannot push any harder and this car will not stop.
Yeah.
This car is just so properly done. And
Thank you.
I'm really knocked out. This is why it's funny, dude. More and more and more, I'm really enjoying these garage-built vehicles, especially when someone goes as deep as you've gone on this one. You guys know me. You see enough of the videos, right? You know how and the truth is, when I think a car is pretty good, I'll usually go, nice car, man. And I'll leave it at that, you know, or I'll find the positive attributes of it.
Yeah.
But this is one of those cars, like, I can't find anything that bothers me.
Well, and it is funny for your, you know, anybody that's out there going, oh, you know, my car's not that special. I actually kind of thought when I contacted you, you're going to be like, yeah, nice Mustang, bro. I see a million of them, you know, like.
No, not at all.
Thank you for the compliments.
It's better than I was expecting.
Thank you.
This is a perfect car.
Yeah, it turned out great. I'm quite happy with the results. So,
you know, the tone, I'm looking forward, like, obviously I've barely put my foot in it. I am looking forward to hearing how much more sound comes out. At idle, it's quiet,
yeah,
but I can hear it as I get into it a little bit.
yeah.
It just sounds really good. just fun power. You feel it pulling.
Yeah.
I felt it when you took off, kind of kicked a little bit, you know, it's because we are in that time where it's the battle of horsepower. Hell, you want 1,500 horsepower, you can do it on demand.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do. I'm so dumb, I'm over here just smiling away. We'll see you back at the shop, guys. That was awesome. That's the first time you've done that in this car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at you, man. Like a little 16-year-old kid just smiling away, brother.
That's why I'm glad that I'm nearly 50. I would not have survived 16 with this car.
No, not with this one, no. The 6-cylinder, you were fine.
Yeah, kind of.
Dude, that was awesome, man. This car is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love the fact that Rodger's owned this car since he's 14 years old. Other than the paint and body and a couple minor things, did everything himself in the garage with a high focus on safety, drivability, and enjoying the hell out of this car. And the idea that the car's been done for about a month and he's already got about 5,000 miles on it, that, my friends, is a driver car. Quick reminder about our merch stuff, atlamerch.com if you want to buy any of our shirts, hats, other things we have. Also, the podcast is live, Autotopia LA podcast channel on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. With that, I'll see you in the next one, man. Later.